Ladies and gentlemen, this is KageKaze again. We've made it into a game here of Siege. As you can see, when you come in, there's a splash screen that tells you roughly how to play. On the left, you can see you've got energy towers. You have to collect energy. After that, you have to return it to your base. Once you've returned that energy to your base, and you've had enough, you can launch a battleship to the enemy base, which weakens its armor. Once you've launched that battleship, you want to control the middle field anti-aircraft tower, so that your battleship doesn't get shot down. Or if the enemy launches one, you want to control it so it does shoot it down. You just rinse and repeat until you destroy the base. Let's go ahead and close that now. We're going to get into this game already in progress, and I'll go ahead and use my standard assault mech. I talked earlier on my other video about swapping your primaries. This is what I was talking about here. You've got a primary weapon of the assault rifle. I've got a secondary. Can never change my secondary, can't change my class ability. I also cannot swap out my items once I'm in a server. I can only do that in the mech bay. But at this point, I have two primaries, a assault rifle, a submachine gun. I can hit the swap primary to go ahead and go between those two, and I can do that every time I die. At this point, I want to keep my assault rifle. Now I'm going to point out that in this current implementation, there is no way to buy weapons. You saw that I could look at the primaries in the mech bay, but there was nothing there. I click on it, nothing would happen. In the last alpha, you were able to buy weapons. So I imagine in the future you're going to be able to buy different weapons to make your mech a little more unique and diverse to you. So that's a good thing. I'm looking forward to seeing that come back in. So right now, let me kind of show you how this mech operates. It's very much a first-person shooter. I turn to move around. I can strafe. But here's the thing. If I try to strafe from left to right from like one looking position, you'll notice I have to pause and then turn around because the legs are having to swivel. While moving forward, I can strafe a little bit easier. I've got my primary weapon. I've got my secondary weapon. Also in the lower right, you can see I have an inventory, which I'm using my mouse wheel to go through. I've got my machine gun, turret, an EMP, and a repair unit. So how does Siege work? Well, I'm going to go to this tower here, and you can see these kind of green ovals on this tower. That shows you if the tower actually has any energy in it or not. This one is actually fairly empty, so it's giving us energy at a reduced rate. So staying here is not going to be advantageous to our group. So let's go ahead and take out this guy as he's trying to run away. Oops, I missed the jump pad. There are jump pads here on the ground. They are a little bit buggy. They don't always work as they should. So let's just stop him from collecting energy if we can. Might not be the best decision I've made. That's okay. Let's turn around and nope. Into a wall. That's quite alright. So let's go and find an energy tower that actually has energy in it, shall we? Now when you die, you can see here there's about a 10-second respawn delay. So dying will set you back a little bit. That's okay, I had no energy, there was nothing really going on. Now, you can see I'm moving quickly. I have a thrust gauge down in the center. You'll see that little needle moving up, filling up with orange. And as I thrust, it goes down. So you have a certain amount of energy you can use for thrusting. This energy is also controlling your jump jet. So if I jump up, you can see I can kind of hover downwards and just kind of float down like that. So I'm just going to move around. Let's get this guy, take care of him. Oh, see, there's the overheat we had talked about a moment ago. You lose your weapons, can't fire my weapons, but my mech still moves. So you don't have to worry about completely losing your mech getting shut down. Now, as you see here, when I destroyed these mechs, they're dropping this green stuff. That's the energy that was in this tower originally. I can't carry all of it, so I'm just going to leave now that I've gotten a good amount of it, and I'm going to return back to base. Now, while I was doing that, I completely did notice that we have launched our battleship already. If you look at the very top of the screen, you'll see there's what looks like a white missile moving towards the right. That is representative of our battleship moving to the enemy base. Let's see if I can see it. It's over here. There it is. That right there is the battleship. moving very slowly towards their base. And it's going to take a while, and then when it hits, you'll notice in the upper left and upper right, there is little bars that represent the health of the bases, and it's segmented into 3. We basically have to launch the battleship into the enemy base 3 times. Once the 3rd time hits, we win. Game over. Or they win, depending upon who manages to get it out there. So, I'm going to thrust around. There's a lot of strategy to doing this, because you don't have ammo. That's the beautiful thing. I can sit here and fire all day. I will never run out of ammo. But you'll see the 2 bars to the left and right of the crosshair build up. That's just telling me my heat's getting up there. If I fire for too long, I'll eventually overheat. Thankfully, my mech ability is to completely dissipate that heat. Now let me show you the other thing that makes this game unique. I have damage. As you can tell at the bottom, I have 428 armor out of 720. If I go into a fight, I'm at a distinct disadvantage. Every mech has the ability to repair itself on the field. At a default, it's the C button. And to push that, it shuts my mech down, and then my little repair drone starts going to work. So you have to be very careful about when you repair. There's no auto-regenerative health, anything like that. So very much a faster-paced game, though. Especially since, comparing it to MechWarrior Online, because that is the competition right now. This is a more arcadey style shooter than it is a tactical shooter, although there are still a lot of tactics you need to employ, especially in a game mode like Siege. You have to manage your heat, you have to manage your damage, and of course manage where the enemy team is. And you've got plenty of terrain options because every mech does have jump jets. Oops, I'm starting to take damage here. Let's pull back a little bit. And as you see there at the top, we've got a timer telling us there's 10 seconds left until our battleship hits their base. We could probably leave the center tower at this point and go to return our energy to launch another battleship. Now, the enemy does not have to resign themselves to defeat if they can't get that center AA tower. You can actually shoot the battleship down using your main weapons. However, it's going to take your entire team dedicated to doing this. You're all going to want to shoot at it in order to bring it down because it has a lot of health. But it can be done. I've seen clutch victories from my own team where we nearly got defeated and we destroyed the battleship within a second of it impacting our base. So you don't want to give up if you can't get the tower. Sometimes you just have to get your team shooting at it. Usually the best time to make this switch, if you find that you cannot get the tower, is somewhere around the midpoint. Once the battleship is at the mid-range, you should be able to shoot at it with your missiles and guns and things like that. You usually want to use the hardest hitting abilities you have to survive. So I really like this game mode, Siege as a whole. It feels very different from most modes I've played. It feels like there's many opportunities for a losing team to make a comeback. Whoa, I've got 2 guys here. See, there's the shield. That right there is the shield. They can't shoot through it, neither can I. And then next to that was a radar scrambler, it looked like. Alright, so I'm going to try and retreat a little bit here because I've taken a bit of damage. Did they follow me? Yes, they did. Okay, so he got me with his tow. Quite alright. I didn't have any energy, so there was a 0 net gain for anybody there. Of course, I could have used some of my items. I do have my turret, my EMP. I'll try and show off the EMP here, I think, in the next life. So let's go ahead and get in. Thrusting around. Now, as you can see there, both battleships are now in the air. Theirs has taken a little bit of damage because we have the center tower. You can see on the right-hand side who has control. Every time our team gets that white gauge to 100%, a missile is launched, doing damage to the battleship. So we need to have more people here than they do for that to happen. You can see here, and when they even it out, it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm going to sit here, let it get to full. Okay, a missile just launched. And at the top, you can see the health of each battleship. The line underneath the battleship represents its health bar. And their battleship is about to go down. Oh, that guy's healing right up here, really? No, let's... Okay, he's gone. Alright, let's put a Okay, they're all over the place from the looks of this, or that could be a scrambler, it's hard to tell. Let's put a machine gun up here. There's my machine gun. And there is our radar scrambler. We are not getting anywhere at this rate. Okay, I'm taking damage. Let's pull back a bit. Ah, he got me, but he got killed too. Unfortunately, dying means that my turret goes away. That's a shame. Now, if I get back in, we're going to have to see if their battleship is still in the air. If it is, we might have to go ahead and just start shooting at it. It is. Alright, and it just went down. So part of that was our AA missile going through, and the other part is, of course, our battleship will shoot at theirs as it's in passing. So, alright, we've got another enemy up here on the tower, which is... I just hit something. Okay, get my energy back a bit. Thrust up. Now, one downside is, of course, it feels like it takes a while to thrust anywhere if you're trying to thrust vertically. Alright, down you go. Alright. I don't need to be at the AA. We need, well, actually I do. We have a battleship in the air. Let's repair. Get back into the fight here in a moment. Here we go. Now let's see, is the enemy up there? Yeah, so what I'm going to do is launch my tow and blow it up. So I was talking about weapons, each having a special weapon modification or ability. My tow has the ability to blow up in midair. If I just fire it, you'll see it keeps going until it hits something. If I hit the alternate fire again, or I hit the weapon special button, I can blow it up in midair, just like that, in order to do damage. So if it's about to miss, I can still hit my target and do a little bit of damage. Alright, so they are now down to one armor unit on their base. So we are going to want to go and try and collect some energy. Alright, let's pull back a tiny bit here. Okay, my turret's doing a little bit of damage. Very good. Let's repair and keep an eye out there, just so if no one's following me. Alright, my turret's doing a bit of damage. They're probably going to kill it though, which it seems like they did. It's okay, it did damage. I'm almost repaired. And now I'm going to get an advantage point here on node 2. And... oh! Alright. There. Well, I hit myself as well with that, so that's a shame. As you can see, that shut down my weapons system. And I wasn't able to do much. So I just put down a repair unit, and I killed him with my turret. This little ball here, well, it's gone now. That little repair unit has a very small radius, so the problem with using that is you have to be right on top of it. I really hope that they buff it. It feels like it's not exceptionally useful. It does have a high repair rate, but it goes away quickly. So I really don't see it getting overpowered if it had a much farther range. We're going to go ahead and leave. I have no items now, as indicated in the lower right hand corner. If I move my mouse wheel, nothing changes. I'm out of special equipment. I have to rely on my weapons now. I can't use my weapons until I die. Once I die, I'll get them back. Maybe in the future they'll have a way of you getting your items back, but it doesn't seem entirely likely. And that might be a little bit too much, as it is. Some of these items are very, very powerful as it is. So energy's back. You can see at the top left, the energy is counting down. We need 242 energy left. My mech is a medium mech, so you can see I can carry about a little over 200 energy units. Light mechs can carry about 150, 175, somewhere around there. And the heavy mechs can carry quite a bit more, somewhere around 300 energy units. Difference, of course, being that heavy mechs are, of course, slow and take longer to get where they're going. That's why they can carry more. Alright, we're getting close to launching. It looks like we may actually have a launch here. No, it stopped at 85. Two of those little bubbles, huh? Let's turn on my heat sink there. Ah, he got me with the grenade launcher. Actually, no, that wasn't him. That was someone else that got me, I think. But I disrupted their energy flow. That's the important part right there. Sacrificing yourself for the greater good, right? So if I wanted to, since I'm fighting in close a lot more, I could switch out to my submachine gun. I'll go ahead and do that now. It's hard to tell the differences between the weapons, unfortunately, just by looking at the icons. This one has a much faster rate of fire, but it doesn't have the range, so it's much less accurate than the weapon I was just using. But I can get in close like so and start pelting an enemy. A lot of them are using those shields right now. Alright, let's run a little interference here while we're waiting for our battleship to impact. Now on my radar you'll notice that there's that red blip above me, so I know there's a hostile there. Keep dancing, keep dancing. Yes. Put that down. Ah, he ended up getting me. That's okay. Oh, nope, his teammate got me, his sniper. Alright. Very good. That was the guy I was going to go for. The little dots, of course, show you where the enemy is, but you have to watch out for the little chevron icons. The little arrow pointing up indicated he was above me, so if I want to know where he is, just got to look for that. And, of course, that failed. Let's go this way. Use the jump pad. So you can get pretty good vantage points up here. So if I were a sniping mech... Oh, that's a friendly turret. Oh well, good thing there's no friendly fire, right? Which, if you didn't know, yes, there is no friendly fire. The sniper across the way looks like he tagged me, so I'll have to be careful of that. The most dangerous thing about snipers in this is they have the ability to increase the damage on their weapons for a few seconds. I think it's somewhere around 6 to 9 seconds. Very lethal, because that means in a short manner, in a very short burst, you could take quite a bit of damage. He's almost down. Come on. There we go. I got a assist on that. So, I think that's going to do it. Our looks like our base is going in. Oh, it's taking damage. They're shooting at it now. You can take a look at the health bar there. They've knocked down one health bar. It's got 7 more, but too late. That's victory for this team. Congratulations, guys. Good work. Not that they can hear me, right? Well, that's Siege in a nutshell. That's the gameplay of Hawken. It's looking really good. And as you can see here, you'll get an idea of what kind of experience I get. And, well, you won't exactly get to see how much of a level I get. I would think from a round like that, well, let's take a look at the earnings here in just 1 second. We'll get an idea what that is. So this is with a booster, keep in mind. I've got only 84 Hawken points without it. With it, I got 160. As you saw, it takes 10 times that amount in order to get even just a base item. So if I go back to the earnings, I got about 9,000 experience. I may have leveled from that or gotten close. I think, honestly, that'd probably be about half a level. It depends, because it's hard for me to gauge right now, simply because the gauge is not always working properly. That would have probably been a good chunk of experience. But so, as you can see, I used a booster for that, and I got only a tenth of what I needed to buy just an upgrade item, not even a mech. So that means I would need to play about 10 matches to get an item. Without that booster, that's about 20. That is definitely a grind, and I'm wondering if it may be a little unnecessary to be that big. But again, these are not final values. All right, well, if you're interested in Hawken at all, once again, I urge you to go to playhawken.com and sign up. It is going to be free to play, so even if there is that grind, you don't have to pay anything into it. So if you play it and you don't necessarily like it, you don't have to keep playing it. You're going to have options. You've got this game, you've got MechWarrior Online, which is at mwomercs.com. Really good competition between the two. I think they're going to coexist very nicely because they're really not stepping on each other's toes. Yes, they're both mech games, but they're very unique and different mech games. Both of them are very fun. I actually had a lot of fun playing this game last night, going around taking people out. Unfortunately, there's only 2 maps available for this mode, so that was getting a tiny bit tedious, but they'll be adding more. Right now, the current alpha stage, or the current beta stage, is a stress test. So there'll definitely be more getting added later. Alright, well, again, that's been a look at Hawken from Adhesive Games. I'm KageKaze, and I'll see you next time.